Well, this morning we've got the general manager of Denver's Del Frisco Steakhouse, Chris Manis. Did I get that right?
That's right.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, obviously we're here to talk about some wine today.
Well, we're going to talk about women more than wine.
Yes.
Because women have shaped the wine industry for hundreds of years. And, you know, we celebrate at Del Frisco's Double Eagle. We celebrate women every single day, especially in wine, because a lot of what we take for advantage for in wine is because of what women have done. And they've done some fantastic things. We can go back to 1799 when Madame Veuve Clicquot really revolutionized how champagne was made. She was widowed at a young age. She was widowed at 27 years old, and she took over. She took the reins, and you know everything that we produce champagne, from riddling to dosage to disgorgement to the pupetrie. She created all those things.
Wow.
Then we can go all the way to the United States, where in 1881, Miss Helen Weinberger, she was widowed as well, and she took over she was the first known or documented winemaker in the United States. Then, of course, Prohibition kind of destroyed thing a little bit, you know. And
it wasn't until
right, and it wasn't until the 1980s that suddenly women really kind of jumped back onto the scene again. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can look at the first one, which is Mary Edwards. She was the first winemaker that had her name put on the label in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Then we also have Pride. We have J Vineyards. We have Maya, which is the name of her daughter. But at the end of it all, right now, you know, we talked about the Grande Dame of Champagne, Veuve Clicquot. Currently, the queen of wine is Heidi Barrett. And all these wines over here are produced by Heidi Barrett, and she has 500-point wines. And just to produce one is just incredible, but to produce five, she knows what she's doing. So she's part of Screaming Eagle, which this is a $3,000 bottle of wine.
A $3,000 bottle. You know, I wanted to ask you real quick, what do you see? Do you see a lot of women in Colorado involved in the wine industry? Is it usually more in other states?
No, you know, it's about 10% across the board right now. But if you look at the women that are going to UC Davis, that's generally considered the United States where you get educated on it. We're going to see in the next 15, 20 years, that's probably going to jump up to closer to 20%. You look at Napa Valley, it's right around 14% are winemakers. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course we were talking about this because it's International Women's Day, and not everyone may know that there was a lot of movers and shakers of women in the wine industry.
Yeah. They just kind of, you know, men sometimes rely too much on tradition, whereas women, once they get given the reins, they say, hey, let's do something different, which is fantastic. And then, of course, all these things pair super well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, let's talk about this.
You have crab cakes. Crab cakes a little bit spicy. Whenever you have spicy, you want to do something a little bit sweet. So you can look at something like Viognier, made by Pride Mountain, which is, of course, a female winemaker. That would be amazing. So cool. The long bone ribeye steak. It's a 32-ounce steak that we serve at Del Frisco's Double Eagle Steakhouse, and that goes with any wines with good amount of tannic structure. These are perfectly balanced. This is like Heidi Barrett has been known for, you know, balancing power with grace. Yeah. And it's really hard to do. You know, sometimes when you get too big and extracted, kind of lose some of those subtler tones. But these go on days and days and days. And then, of course, with your chocolate mousse, you have some red wine left over after dinner, have chocolate. I mean,
it is
yeah, and we have some wine here, too. So we're going to have some a little bit later on. Cheers.
Thank you so much. We are just about out of time, but we really appreciate you coming in today.
My pleasure.